All right, welcome back into another episode of Indiebnb. Today we are joined by a friend from across the pond, Danny Green, aka DG Solaris. Danny, how are you today?
I am having a great day, actually. It's been good. I'm very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I popped up. We got some sweat in this morning, and we're ready to have a wonderful Saturday here in Atlanta. So
Amazing.
But want to get in and dive in. I mean, the DJ Solaris project, is this your kind of first go? Is it, your solo project? Have you been in bands before? Give me some background here.
Well, yes. So I started a project about maybe about 15 years ago called Laish, which is spelled Laish. And I sort of set up a band when I was living in Brighton. And we made 4 albums under that name and did quite a lot of shows and toured around the UK and quite a lot around France and Italy. And I even came over to the States for a run of solo shows around Texas in 2018. And then it kind of ran its course. And then in 2018, I met my now wife, Liana, and we started writing songs together. And there was a sense that it just didn't feel like this was going to be a Laish record that we were making, So we got married. We traveled to South America. We spent about 6 months just, having a great sort of honeymoon trip around South America, once in a lifetime kind of dream trip. And while we were there, we were writing songs, and those songs became the first DG Solaris record, which is called Spirit Glow. So that album is very much it's a kind of psychedelic love story. It's very much a kind of in love, new love kind of album. It's one of those. And then we had 2 kids, and we moved to the countryside in the UK, in a place called Somerset. And it's beautiful around here, but suddenly our lives completely changed. Everything was different. We had COVID interrupted all of our sort of DG Solaris early plans, and then we had 2 beautiful boys. And so suddenly I found myself like a dad. I'm just in my room on my own, making music by myself, and I just hadn't released anything for a really long time. So it's only this year in January when I started releasing new material, and I've sort of started on a quest of releasing a new song every 2 weeks, because I have such an enormous kind of backlog of songs that have been clogging up my hard drive, and finished songs, half finished songs. So I've spent the last sort of year or so just finishing a bunch of songs, writing a bunch of new songs, and I thought, well, let's get them out there. So I'm just sort of drip feeding them, because I understand that people don't have much of an attention span anymore. I didn't really want to just throw an album out there. I wanted to just let each song breathe for a couple of weeks, and then move on to the next one. So yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, a lot to unpack there. Obviously, like the Spirit Glow. I mean, the 6-month trip in South America. I want to hear more about that. Obviously, like what made you guys want to choose there versus other places? People go just for the week and kind of hang out. Like what made you guys want to go adventure for that long?
I think it was just a realization that it was it's kind of like a once in a lifetime. It was like a moment in our lives when we didn't have children. We knew that we would probably have them soon enough. So we just were able to rent out the flat that we had in London at the time.
Okay.
And that helped sort of fund it, and then off we went. And so so the reason we chose South America is because we'd already traveled to India earlier the previous year. And I spent a lot of time in India, and I loved traveling around there. But I'd always wanted to check out South America. It's always been on my sort of dream list, and same for Liana. So we just saw as much as we could. Of course, it's a huge territory, but we saw parts of Chile, Peru, Colombia, and then went up to Mexico.
Nice. Anything like in particular in there, like kind of influenced some of the stuff you're releasing now, or is it, some of those experiences? Obviously, like you have is it just the Spirit Glow album that kind of encapsulates that, or some of these songs you're releasing now have, some of that influence in it too?
Do you know what? I think the Spirit Glow album really, it was written just before and just while we were there. So that really encapsulates that whole time, I don't think I've really written anything in the last sort of couple of years that sort of is specifically about that trip so much. I guess the songs now are more the kind of, the crushing weight of like fatherly responsibility and, being in this new phase of life. Whereas I think, the Spirit Glow album, that there was still a kind of a youthful, vigor to us, to me as to both of us probably. So I think we were doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of traveling, a lot of yoga and meditation. We even explored some plant medicines, like we went to some ayahuasca retreats and did all of that stuff, and all the sort of all the classic sort of hippie trail stuff. It was great.
I mean, I'll pause on diving in on the ayahuasca. We'll come back to that at the end. I do want to hear about that, but sure. I want to hear more about Paulette the Black Cat. This is one that you're kind of one of your 2-week, drip that you're doing for everybody here now. But like, where did this song in particular come from? Is this kind of in post-trip, fatherhood beginnings, your version of yourself, or?
Well, you've actually chosen quite a it's one of the darker songs. It's one of the darker songs that I've written recently, because Paulette was actually a friend of mine, a musical friend, based in Paris, and during the last year of the sort of Life project, because we had a French record label, so we used to go to France quite a lot and play shows. Anyway, we went to Paris to do the sort of national radio show there. It's like quite a big, like live performance and play a show in Paris, which is like the biggest show we'd done. And while we were there, we invited Paulette to come and sing with us. So she came and sang on the radio and for our Paris show. And then, she was just the most sort of beautiful soul. I mean, she was, stunningly gorgeous woman, beautiful voice, just so sweet and kind, and just a lovely, character to be around. And then about 3 weeks, I don't know how long it was, a few weeks after we got back from that show, we found out that she'd committed suicide. And wow. She was, I don't know, I think she was like maybe 28 or something. She was young. And it was just such a blow to everyone in the band, of course. And, we just only just got to know her, having, met her in a couple of trips over there. And it was just, like utterly unbelievable. Just couldn't conceive of like how took us all completely by surprise. So I guess me being me, a songwriter, I always try to sort of unpack my emotional life through songs. And I've been trying to write this song for years, like I've just been trying to, if you go through my hard drive, there's probably about 7 or 8 different versions of this song. Like I tried a really sort of fast rocky version, and like various, like a sort of electronica version and a acoustic ballad. And anyway, the one that I released it's kind of a slow kind of piano ballad, which builds to a more kind of band arrangement. And I don't know, ultimately it felt nice, it felt right. So I finally let it go. But yeah, wow, it's taken a long time to feel kind of ready to release it, because there's something, it just felt so difficult to encapsulate that feeling of grief, and not wanting to in any way sort of cash in on it, as if releasing music is in any way lucrative. But I didn't want to sort of minimize that experience or make it about me. But I guess I wanted to like honor her memory and just be like, okay, here's a song for you.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, man, I think like anytime I do this and I hear like kind of the background, I was thinking the song's about a cat, but you know what? It's not. It's, like you get kind of the background, of course, Yeah. So when you created this one, obviously you had a bunch of different versions. Like, how did you, I guess, start, just kind of did you start with some general chords and then whenever you started kind of veering off and creating different versions, or did you kind of have like you rewrote it a few different times with all the different versions?
I think to begin with, I think the words came quite early, or some kind of version of the words came quite early, and then I was because like lyrically, the idea of her being a black cat, I guess, there's something sort of slightly spooky about black cats. There's a sort of superstitious. So I'm sort of referring to a kind of superstition there, I suppose. And I've always had a thing about foxes. Like I have a song on, like a favorite Leish song called "The Fox," which is all about kind of exploring the kind of darker sides of our kind of sexuality and the sort of darker sides of wanting to be a kind of brutish, animalistic person, exploring all the crazy things that you could never possibly do in sort of polite society. I don't know. I can't quite explain. I think you know what I mean. And
definitely.
So it's like the idea of like the black cat and meeting the fox by the bins. So sort of meeting her out in this kind of, I guess, like a like a dark alleyway at night or something, and feeling like she's this kind of scared, vulnerable creature, and there's a sort of fox that's kind of trailing her, and I guess the fox kind of represents the darkness and the kind of the sort of the depression, I suppose. So yeah, that was the sort of lyrical connections I was trying to make there. And then in terms of the music, I just tried so many different styles and versions of chords until eventually settled on this one. But yeah.
Is it typically like the same kind of process for you with most of the music you write? Like is it, hey, we're going to get lyrics first and then roll into the music, or is it typically happen the opposite way? What's the if you had to kind of write down your process, what would it be?
I would say that I think I'm usually more often than not, I'm a lyrics person first, because I tend to find that if I write a song that sort of doesn't really have lyrics and then come back to it later and try and sort of superimpose a lyrical idea on top of it, for some reason, and I know this works for many people, but for some reason for me, I can just never quite get it to attach to the original idea, or I find I just get a bit blocked trying to attach words to a piece of music. Whereas I find it much easier to have explored an idea and like feel like I've got a page of words which I'm interested in, which have some kind of lyrical, have some nice lines or some nice imagery that I'm interested in, which somehow encapsulate a feeling or an emotion. And then I find it much easier to then explore that musically, and then just follow wherever my voice takes me melodically, and then see where the music takes me, and then just have a bit of fun, producing it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
With Leish, was it, kind of you writing most of the songs in like in this manner, or was there more of a collaborative process, with the band?
I would say it was kind of like at its original core, it was the same process, but I was working with a lot of different musicians. So the Leish band went through various different incarnations of lineups, so each album in a way was actually a different set of musicians. And so when I toured it was often different people, and so there was never like a stable kind of lineup of Leish, but of course, many members of that band, but like for example, Tom Chad, who was my keys player since about 2014 or 2013, I played with him for like 10 years, and he played through various incarnations of that band, and was a great collaborator, just to pick one. But so yeah, when it came to like recording in a more studio environment, there was always a lot more. I was always a lot more open to getting other people's voices on there and other people's musical input. Yeah. Whereas at the moment, like now, it's kind of shrunk a little bit, and I'm just mostly doing most of the stuff myself, which is also interesting in a different way. But yeah.
Well, when are we going to get the boys involved? I mean, are they picking up guitars yet? Are they, what's the process there?
They are very, very musical. Actually, I have to say, I'm obviously bursting with pride about that. But
Hmm.
Phoenix, my 4-year-old, already has a Spotify playlist with about, I don't know, 16 hours of music on it or something, like hundreds of
Wow.
songs. And of course, it's all stuff that me and my wife have played to him. Um, but when he likes a song, he goes, "I like this one. Put it on my playlist." Um, so there are days when we're just listening to his playlist and that's it. And then there are days when I'm like, we're just listening to what I want to listen to, and then probably some of those songs will get added to your playlist.
Yeah.
So he's already been through. So he's like already on his like second wave of Beck, having already kind of been through Beck, and now he's back on Beck. Sergeant Pepper's was a big one. The Strokes, the
Hmm.
first couple of albums were huge for him. Super Furry Animals, big influence on my boy. And he's got a drum kit. He's got a guitar, like an acoustic guitar, a little toy saxophone. He's got. He loves playing with my synthesizers. Actually, that's his favorite. So yeah, he's very, very musical. And the 2-year-old Nico, he's also pretty. I think he's a singer. He's the guy who sort of bursts into the room and just starts belting out, a Paul McCartney song. So yeah,
Is he into your music?
they both actually love it. Yeah,
They love it.
It's
That's
very
great.
sweet. Yeah, he's been through a big life phase actually. There was a time when he would only listen to my last couple of albums, especially on vinyl. He would be like, right, we're going to put that record on and just listen to it. So yeah, it's very sweet.
It's awesome. You're kind of passing down the next generation. I love it.
Yeah.
What for you, like with this project, like, is touring it, in the cards, or is this kind of more, hey, we're going to slow drip the songs out and kind of see what happens? Like, what's for you, getting back on the road to visit some people?
Yeah, I mean, the touring thing it just doesn't really feel very viable at the moment because
Hmm.
I feel like I'm quite needed at home,
Yeah.
and that's not to say that I couldn't in theory sort of disappear for a week or so, but it wouldn't go down very well. So and it's not like, I hate to say it, but it's not as if I would earn great money by doing a tour.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I might earn a little bit of money, but I probably wouldn't earn as much money as I do in my sort of day-to-day life. So it would feel very, very self-indulgent right now to do it. And so obviously, like, I'm aching for it. Like, I'd love to just disappear for a few weeks and do that, but unless I could really come home and be like, okay, right, here's the dough. I made like some serious cash on this tour, then it would
Yeah.
feel like a bit of a kind of like, what was that about? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In Somerset, do you have like a local venue you can go just rip it at? That's easy.
Yeah. There are shows. I mean, I do a yearly. I've made a sort of thing of doing a yearly show in London at this beautiful venue called the Green Notes in Camden, and it's one of these venues that has been. It's an absolute institution. Everyone you can name has played there, and it's a kind of it's a small, intimate kind of space that sort of suits singer songwriters and small bands, but everyone's played there, so it's got that, when you get on that stage, you can feel the history, you can feel the the talent who've been on that stage. So it's always a really exciting one to play, and I do it every year in October. So on October the 2nd, they'll be there again. It's like a sort of DG Solaris and Friends show where I just invite a bunch of musical friends and collaborators to come and join me and sing a song or play some guitar or whatever. So I'll be doing that again this year. But in terms of locally, I've actually just stopped doing a night. I was actually running a night for about 3 years in a beautiful venue in Frome, which is my local town. And I ran this night called Night River, and it started as a monthly thing and then became a weekly show, which just was kind of crazy that I was organizing like a weekly show.
Yeah.
So I was getting down to this venue, and it, just to set the scene, it was like being in a kind of Aladdin's cave speakeasy cocktail you know, very, very ornate, beautiful, sort of very intimate and small, and kind of, you know, everyone packed in, and it was always sold out. And we got some fantastic names in there, you know, like really some of the like cream of the kind of indie singer-songwriter folky sort of scene of the UK. Got some names who, you know, would play several hundred seater theaters, or, you know, that kind of style, and they'd come and play a show for like 35 people in this tiny little bar.
Wow.
So it was, you know, we had some great shows, but I've just put a stop to that because I needed a break from it. It was going a bit crazy. It was sucking up all of my mojo, to be quite honest. And I loved doing it, but I just thought, you know, I need to just like take time out from this, because I need some mental space from like the stress of organizing a show, like having that non-stop every week.
Yeah.
It's like
every week it's like, all right, it's coming back, here we go. Like
like there was I could never not think about it. Like I've been thinking about those Night River shows solidly for 3 years, and it's right now it's like I feel like I'm on a holiday, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean, with any kind of, you know, touring, everybody I talk to, you know, I talk on both sides of it. It just seems like it's, you know, putting on shows is stressful in like any capacity, because, you know, it's getting them there, getting people, you know, to show up, and, you know, getting the, you know, word out about it. And, you know, now you got to, you know, run the social media, and now you got to like do, you know, it's almost you know, you got to market it like it's, you know, out of control with the, you know, Instagram and all that stuff. So I definitely see your point there.
It's I think being a promoter is, having been a promoter for 3 years, I think it's quite a sort of, I don't want to say thankless task. Like, people did thank me. People would come up to me at the end and say, thank you for bringing, you know, Romeo Stoddart from the Magic Numbers to come and play a show here, or thank you for bringing John Smith, or, you know, whoever. And so it wasn't entirely thankless, but there was never really much of a profit in it. So there were, you know, like those profit margins are always weighted in favor of the artist, which is great, because obviously as an artist myself, I'm happy that is the case, and I would make my deals very friendly to the artist. But at the end of the night, it's like, you know, it wasn't really financially worth it, you know. Like it was great in every other way, but I can't really put food on the table doing this. So
35 people can only drink so much, so they, you know.
Exactly, yeah. So it's for the venue, because I was just the promoter, so the venue was obviously struggling with that as well. So in fact, actually, we had Sophie Jameson was one of the artists we had. Right. Who I know. In fact, that's actually that was how I came to you guys, because I saw her post about the show, and that's why I got in touch. So,
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, love Sophie. We got her through her PR firm. You know, I'm close with her, and so that's how I got in touch with her. It's fun to, you know, a lot of the UK bands that we have on the show, and it's like, you know, they either come through that, or, you know, I'll you know, hit them in the DMs with, you know, hey, I heard a song came up on my Discover Weekly, and here we are, right? So
nice.
It's been fun to, you know, we've done quite a few. Crouton Cannon was the first one I think we did, and they're like a funk band and I think they're out of London maybe, but
nice.
Yeah. But, you know, kind of getting back for you, like, you know, as we see, you know, where's the future of the project? We keeping on, you know, dripping out the songs for every 2 weeks here. And, you know, is it going to possibly lead to an album, or, you know, do you have kind of just like, hey, we're going to keep it open and see what happens?
So at the moment, the kind of, well, the idea that I came up with was basically because I do have a Patreon, which I post on every week. So every week on Patreon, I'm putting on a new piece of music and a new piece of writing. And what I've basically done is made the new album available to people on my Patreon, or you can just buy it as a download if you don't want to, you know, join up for the weekly thing. So it's out there now. So there is a new album. It's called Tell Us for the Loop, and it's kind of available now on the Patreon. In the meantime, I'll just keep dripping those songs out, you know. And I actually was looking the other day, and I've pretty much got another album almost finished. It's about 4 songs away from, you know, just tidying up 4 songs, and then that's kind of done as well. So I'm Grant, I'm relentless. I keep just because the thing is, I basically write, like, my method is that I write songs every Tuesday. So I have a thing called, I call it DG Tuesdays. I just get in my studio and I block out Tuesday mornings, and I just sit and write a song, or just, record whatever needs recording. And I've just managed to get it down to quite a sort of direct, quick process. Like I don't sort of digest them for too long these days,
Yeah.
Some of those live songs I was demoing for years before I'd record them, whereas now I don't demo them at all. I maybe make one demo, but usually I just record it and then that's it. I release it, So it's much more immediate, and I just much prefer that because then I can, because then I'm just getting the creative process out there. Like, I'm writing it, recording it, releasing it, done.
Yeah.
It feels it feels a bit more kind of, it's a bit more 2025,
Yeah. Just ripping it. And
just keeping it going.
Getting it going. I love it.
Yeah.
You're relentless. Well, let's see how relentless we are on the Pete Peterson party pack of questions here. I'm excited to get through these 20 questions in a row. Here we go. All right. Okay. DG Solaris, Pete Peterson's party pack questions right now. Here we go. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Pieing it up. All right. Salad or soup?
Soup.
Soup in. All right. Sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of these days?
Sunset.
Sunset. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
Don't know what that means.
All right.
It's a British crowd. Come on, we need a cricket reference here.
It's like, would you rather score? What is it? Rather score a point in rugby, or hit a 1,000 points in cricket?
I'd rather have a nice sit down, to be honest.
There we go. All right. No sports. Let's move on. All right. Would you rather have a night in or a night out?
Oh my gosh. I mean, night in.
Night in. Love it. Hey, but when you do go out and you get that,
exactly.
that rare moment.
When I get that moment, I'm going crazy for sure.
Yeah. Are you ready? Are you more likely to hit the robot or the worm when you do go out? If you hit your jam comes on.
The worm.
Worm. All right. Hit the worm. Guac or queso at your favorite Mexican spot?
Guac.
Guac. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
All right. Coffee or tea with your pancakes?
Tea.
Tea. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Cats. Ninja or a pirate? What do you identify more with?
Ninja.
Ninja. Gatorade or Powerade?
Neither.
Toast or bagels?
Toast.
All right.
Every day.
Crisps or pretzels? I translated this one for you.
Oh, crisps or pretzels? Pretzels. Love pretzels.
Pretzels. I love it. All right. Now, chips or tots?
Hang on. You have to...
Fries or tots? I tried to British this right here.
Fries. Yeah.
Fries. All right. TV show or movie after a long day?
TV.
All right. Are aliens real?
Oh, Matt, no.
No. Is Bigfoot real?
No.
Is Love at First Sight real?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. And give us two bands that we might not know that we ought to check out.
Oh, wow. Who you might not know. Okay. Okay. First one that springs to mind. Great guy called the Magic Lantern. Do you like that guy?
Magic Lantern.
He is someone I've put on a few times at the Night River shows. He's based in London. He just writes the most gorgeous songs. He kind of comes in a bit of a sort of folky, jazzy kind of vibe. Beautiful voice, heartbreaking stuff. Check it out. That's my number one. Who should we go for number two? Mesadorm. Mesadorm. It's another person I've hosted at Night River, fronted by a lass called Blythe Pepino. She's just got like one of the most sublime voices I've ever heard. She's just incredible voice. Great lyricist.
All right.
Great lyricist, great band. Check it out.
Love it. Love it. The Magic Lantern and Mezzadorm. Check them out. Everybody go follow DG on Spotify. Go check out his Patreon. It will be linked below here. If you want to go rip the album, right from start to finish right now, that's out. There'll be more to come on that. Danny, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show today.